It's the final game of the 61st Annual Indiana High School Athletic Association Basketball Tournament. In this final game, East Chicago Washington Senators with 28 straight victories this year. The last 102-88 over Floyd Central this afternoon. The other, the Elkhart Blue Blazers. They've won 22 and lost 6. And their last victory, a 3-overtime affair this afternoon over Newcastle, 65-60. Let's take a look at the ball club of the highly touted East Chicago Washington Senators, coached by John Mullidet. They'll be wearing maroon with white numerals in this final game. The starting lineup at the guards, Reuben Bailey, a 5'11 senior, and Darnell Adele, a 6-foot senior. The center is Tim Stoddard. He's 6'7 and a senior. And the two forwards, Pete Turgovich, 6'6 and a senior. He got 40 points this afternoon. And Ulysses Bridgman, 6'5 and a senior. Other members of the Washington team, Francisco Sanchez, a 5'8 senior. Al Pollard, a 5'11 senior. Junior Mike Monaghan at 6'1. James Howard Williams, 6'6 and a senior. Marcus Stallings, a junior at 6'3. Sophomore Alex Contouras, he's 6'3. And Robert Smith, a 6'3 junior. Now for the Elkhart Blue Blazers, coached by Keith Doherty. The starters at the guards, Joe Lefevre, he's 6'2 and a senior. And the other guard is Reggie Underwood, a 5'11 senior. The center is Carl Macon, 6'5 and a senior. And the two guards, Bill Davis, a 6'5 senior, and John Babcock, a 6-foot senior. Other members of the team, Mike Stock, a 5'10 junior. Leo Joint, who is 5'10 and a junior. Ted Barnes, a 5'9 junior. Phil Wiscatoni, who's 5'11 and a junior. Schaefer Suggs, a 5'11 junior. Also, Neil Beaverson, who's 6'3 and a junior. And Gary Beaverson, a 6'8 senior. East Chicago, Washington has already won a state championship in 1960. This is the third time that the Elkhart Blue Blazers have been in the finals, but the first time in the final game.
Darnell Adele joining us from the East Chicago Washington Senators. And one interesting point you just led me with there was Elkhart's team had a player on there that's got a pretty good high school basketball player playing in Northwest Indiana right now in Michigan City, Elston.
Right, Carl Macon's son is playing for Michigan City, Elston.
Charles, he's already signed a national letter of intent to play at Ohio State, a Mr. Basketball candidate, and you're taking on his dad right now.
Right, yeah, well, you know something, we talked about that. He's a fraternity brother from Indiana State, and I saw Carl 2 years ago at the Elkhart, and we kind of reminisced about the happenings in 1971. He said, Darnell, you guys are very lucky. So we had some type of luck. I had my horseshoe in my back pocket.
Okay. Jim?
We're going to get to the game in just a moment. We're going to dig back 21 years. Oh, we don't want to say, do we? Okay.
Wow.
We're going to dig back a couple of decades or more and get to that game in just a moment. But before we do, before the game begins, we want to tell you what we're doing here tonight. We're enjoying March Madness by looking backwards for a bit, back to 1971 for this game coming up, East Chicago. Excellent game, terrific game, and we'll have some insight and commentary from our partner right here. Why not you?
Boy, and we get out on the fast break and go to the glass that quick, and then if you have to set it up in the half court, Mr. Turgovich can shoot the ball.
Oh, phenomenal. We used to tell Turk, go ahead, work it, Turk, and he went out there and he showed what he could do, and we did things like that. It was a lot of feeling for one another, and that's what we did. We played basketball.
Jim?
Yeah, let's watch some of that more basketball coming up, too. You have to watch carefully now because it moves real fast.
Right.
Why don't you, this is a fast break for us, too. Take the phone and call 756-5656 or 1-800-756-5601. We're standing by, ready to take your call and your pledge support to Channel 56. Now let's get back to the action.
Bridgman at the line with one shot. Free toss off the front of the rim, no good. It's pulled off by Davis for Elkhart. Babcock. Underneath the Lefevre, off to Macon. Shot, no good. Tipped up by Babcock, no good. Up by Davis, no good. Up by Babcock, no good. And finally pulled off of there by Stoddard. To Bailey, to Bridgman. Off the back of the rim, no good. Bridgman again, short, whistle, foul Macon. 2 shots to Bridgman. The first one is good. That makes it 11-0 East Chicago, Washington. 5:47 remaining in the first period. Here's the next one, also good. 12-0. East Chicago leading Elkhart. The Washington Senators out front. To Lefevre, being chased by Bailey. To Underwood, drives for the bucket, lays it up. It's short. Pulled out of there by Bridgman. Whistle, traveled with it. Lefevre from the side, in and out, no good. Babcock gets a rebound for the Blazers. Elkhart having trouble finding the range, so Lefevre underneath. Fadeaway, no good, blocked by Bailey. Long pass, Turgovich flips, goes it right into the hands of Underwood. And here come the Blazers with the ball. They trail 12-0. Macon from the side, drops one. The Elkhart Blue Blazers finally break the ice. They trail 12-2. 3 minutes exactly gone by the ball game. Washington Senators with the ball. Man-to-man defense for Elkhart. Bailey drives, shoots, scores. That was Adele. Check that, Adele. 14-2, East Chicago, Washington. Lefevre out back with the ball. Beats Macon. Underwood drives for the bucket. Over on this side to Babcock. Lefevre puts it up. Way off the mark. Macon rebounds to Babcock. No good. Finally pulled out of there by Babcock, and it hits on the line. Let's see who hit it last. Babcock did it. It'll be thrown in by East Chicago, Washington. Long pass in the corner to Bridgman. Bailey from out back. Off the rim, no good. Stoddard almost had it. Loses it, goes behind him. Lefevre picks it up and feeds Macon. Underwood drives, lays, scores. First basket for Underwood, 14-4. East Chicago, Washington in front. 3:55 remaining first period. Adele turns, puts it up. Back of the rim, no good. Stoddard tips it in. 16-4, the Senators. Underwood again drives, lays it off, whistle, and a foul is going to be called on Darnell Adele. That's the first foul to be tooted against Washington. One shot to Reggie Underwood off the rim, no good. Tipped up in the air, brought off of there by Stoddard. Turgovich from the corner, no good. And pulled off by Macon of Elkhart. Down court to Davis, puts it up and in. First basket for senior Bill Davis. Ball knocked away and out of bounds by Macon. It's 16-6. East Chicago, Washington in front of Elkhart. 3:17 remaining first period. From the corner, Stoddard, no good. Underneath. Brought in there by Adele, his second basket. 18-6. Davis tipped away, grabbed by Underwood, though. Underwood lays it up. It's no good. Tipped up by Davis, no good. Tipped up by Babcock, no good. Finally pulled off by Stoddard. Looks for the fast break. Gives Adele underneath Turgovich. Ball is up. No good. It was partially blocked. Pulled out of there by Davis. He stepped on the line. It'll be thrown in by Washington. Stoddard throws it in for the Senators. Turgovich with it, drives for the bucket, whistle. A foul called on Babcock. Turgovich puts the ball up and in. 19-6. East Chicago, Washington with the ball. Off to Lefevre. Lefevre underneath the Macon, puts it up and in. Second basket for Carl Macon, 19-8. Elkhart trails Washington. Man-to-man defense for both teams. Bridgman turns up, no good. Tipped up by Stoddard, no good. Pulled off by Davis. Loses it, picked up by Lefevre. 3-on-1 off this side to Babcock. Fakes, shoots, misses. Grabbed out by Bridgman. Tries to throw it. Has it blocked, gets the ball back. Gives to Bailey. Turgovich. No good. Pulled off by Macon for the Blazers. Long pass to Lefevre. Lays it up and in. 19-10. Elkhart now trailing by 9. Offensive foul, Adele. That's his second.
Going back to 1971 for the East Chicago, Washington against the Elkhart game. I'm sorry, 1971 for that state championship game. It's really terrific to look back. You notice number 22 out on the floor there. Well, number 22 is with us tonight. We're glad to have him, Darnell Adele. He's number 22. He's on that team, and now you're involved in coaching at Central. Must be quite a transition for you to look back and to check back to 20 years, and here you are today.
Well, we tried to, Jim, simulate a lot of things that happened in the past, and the kids right now with the Michael Jordans and the Charles Barkleys and stuff, it's kind of hard to, they don't understand the concept. It's a team effort. These guys are individual people, and I talked to Mr. Williams about the same thing. He followed us all the way down there, and he can tell you, we played the game.
Yeah. Well, Ed Williams joining us now in the trio here, and we're glad to have you with us.
Thank you,
Jim. You sort of mentioned that the team was sort of your boys at the time, and you must have taken great pride in what they were doing.
And still do, Jim. What a group of fine, outstanding young athletes. Looking back at it, the success was surely to be theirs. The whole town knew that. They knew that. And looking back at a 29-0 season, looking at when it all began. And here are kids who began playing together in the 5th grade, 6th grade, and they had a mental telepathy. The thing that struck me most was, and this is something that was echoed throughout the town, that we were just so excited about the possibility of their going downstate, and we, in a sense, captured it coming out of the regional, semi-state, and stayed looking at Darnell and Junior and Stoddard and Turkovich and the whole group. We knew from the start they were destined to win it all. Yeah. And I think that was the beauty in it all, and didn't surprise them any, didn't surprise us any, and most of them are that way today, that most of them still have that persistence, that loyalty to one another, and they're still a very close-knit group.
Well, that's what it takes, and that's what championship caliber teams are made out of. I'm sure any coach would want to cultivate that in their team. As we look forward to the next quarter now, action upcoming, what should we be looking for? What kinds of things will be happening?
Well, I think that, Jim, the mode had changed a bit because we had definitely took the crowd right out of it. Yep. And we wanted to make more of a game out of the whole thing and bring Elkhart back. They kind of got back a little bit too quick. And we were in distraught just a little bit, but it turned out okay.
A little nervous. Before we get back to the action now, let's get some phone action happening here at Channel 56. After all, it's March Fest 56. You see it on the sign behind us. What that really means is we want you to join in the festivities throughout this week as we do our annual March Spring Pledge Drive. We need you to be part of it. Thousands of people calling, checking in, becoming members of Channel 56. It's about time you did it at 756-5656. There's an operator taking a call right there. Why not put the other operators to work? They're standing by. If you're calling long distance, 1-800-756-5601. Those are easy numbers to remember. Actually, we've made this whole thing quite easy. You can call in at the $40 level, the annual basic membership. You get the Channel 56 program guide. Follow along at what programs are coming up. At the $56 level, you've heard us mention the golf hat and the tote bag. Either one are yours if you call, but you've got to make that call at 756-5656. We're standing by. You call now.
The Blazers coming up court. They were down 12-0 early in the game. 1:33 left to go here, first period. Macon, the side to Davis. Lefevre from the side. Way long, pulled out of there by Adele. Turgovich, up, off the back of the rim, no good. Tipped high, pulled off by Underwood. On the run come the Blazers. Puts it up, it's good. 2 baskets for Reggie Underwood, 19-12. Elkhart now trailing by 7 with 1:04 to go here, first period. Bailey with the ball. Slips and falls, tries the shot, blocked by Bacon. Here comes Macon with the ball. Passes Lefevre. Lefevre works, puts up the left-handed hook, no good. Babcock tries to come off with it and draws a foul. Bridgman at the line with a 1-and-1. First one's good. He's hit 3 out of 4 so far. He'll get another. 46 seconds left to go. First period. Second one also good. 21-12. Washington out in front by 9. 45 seconds to go. First period. The Senators jumped off to a 12-0 lead. Lefevre this side to Babcock. To Davis, to Macon. Shot is no good. Pulled out of there by Bailey. Long pass to Adele. 5-footer, no good. Tipped up and no good by Bridgman. Brought off by Lefevre. From the side, Babcock. No good, and Stoddard's got it. To Adele, to Bailey. No good. Grabbed out of there by Babcock for Elkhart. Feeds Lefevre. No good. And that is the end of the first quarter. The score, 21 for East Chicago, Washington, 12 for Elkhart.
21-12. Looking back to 1971. We're playing this game because it's one of the most exciting games that we've had in the archives. We're glad to be able to share it with you, and it's a good way of looking back and really comparing styles of play then to styles of play now. You were mentioning earlier about the Michael Jordan kind of mentality, which is okay, but you know that's a rare exception that a high school team could look like this.
Exactly, Jim. What they don't understand is the faster you get the ball down the floor, the easier to score.
Yeah.
And what we did, we whipped that ball around and put everybody was involved in the game. And that's what you have to have, involvement.
Yeah.
It's a commitment to you, to parents, everybody else. You go out there and get the right chemistry, and then there's successful results.
Sure.
Not to take anything away, Darnell, but one of our Channel 56 callers has kind of given us a friendly reminder that although you all were a great dynasty, but somehow we're forgetting that our school on the other side of town, East Chicago Roosevelt, that they also went down and won the state championship in 1970.
Right.
Jim Bradley and company, and at least not we forget.
Right.
That there were two very great teams within our one city, and for that we are especially thankful. One year one goes down, the next year the other one goes down.
You don't have that, Mr. Williams, too often when you have one team go down, our sister across the bridge, East Chicago Roosevelt. They were 28-0, and we were 29-0. When you have that, that gives you a lot of, you're elated about that. That tells you something about East Chicago.
Yeah. I look back at how, Darnell, how it brought the entire town together, young children, up to grandparents. There were signs in every window, Jim. Down in our 2 shopping districts, signs were everywhere, and people were just elated with the fact that 2 years in a row, and these young gentlemen brought home the bacon for us in 1971. And people still talk about that as being a dream team, a team that will never be equaled again. I have not, in all of these years, been able to find another team that's come anywhere close to the excellence that you all set for us.
Right, it was a trend that started with Johnny Barato and John Moladet focused on that with the feeder system, and we were able to keep that abreast and go out there and leave all the things on the back burners. My mom is watching right now with my girlfriend Gwen, hi, and Terry. And you know something, when you go out there and do things like that, you're fortunate, and I wear this gold ring in pride.
Well, let's, before we get back to the action, let's acknowledge a couple of names. I have a moment for Bianca Palazzaro calling in and Vincent Alcala checking in. We appreciate those calls. You call too, numbers are on your screen. Now back to the game.
Macon will jump with Bridgman. Turgovich shoots it up and in. 23-12, 9-point lead for the Washington Senators here at the start of the second quarter. Underwood all the way, lays it up, no good. Pulled off there by Bridgman, looks for the fast break, now brings up toward himself. Throws it away. Adele threw it away. Lefevre, left-hander, blocked beautifully, and a jump ball called. Adele blocked the ball that time that Joe Lefevre tried to put up. Lefevre has about a 2-inch height advantage here. He's 6'2". He tips it to Davis, to Lefevre. Shot up, misses everything and goes out of bounds. 23-12, Elkhart behind, 7:18 left in the half. Bridgman turns, shoots it up, no good. Grabbed out of there by Macon, off to Lefevre. Underneath the Babcock, almost loses it, gets it back. The shot's up, no good. Adele rebounds to Stoddard, 6'7" boy, misses it, tipped up by Bailey, no good, and pulled out of there, and a foul called on Bailey. Reggie Underwood at the line has one shot. It's no good. Turkovich rebounds it. Ted Barnes is in the ball game, replacing Lefevre. Stoddard with the easy layup. 3 baskets for Stoddard. 25-12, 11-point lead for the Senators again. Minute 20 gone back in the past in the second quarter. Barnes in and Lefevre out for Elkhart. That's Barnes with the ball. To Underwood. To Macon. Macon puts it up from the side. No good. Rebounded out by Turkovich. Long pass intercepted by Underwood. Loses it. Bailey puts it up and misses. And a foul called on Underwood. That's his second. Bailey's first free toss off the front of the rim. No good. Schaefer Suggs now has come into the lineup. He's a 5'11" junior and has replaced Davis for Elkhart. Second one is good. Elkhart may be trying Coach Keith Doherty to speed things up a little bit, get some fresh boys in, because they had a tough 3 overtime game this afternoon. Babcock throws it to Suggs. It's knocked out of bounds by Stoddard. Suggs at 5'11" is working inside with the 6'7" Stoddard. Here comes Lefevre back into the ball game for Elkhart, going out Ted Barnes. Babcock open, short. Far side, Bridgman with the ball. Off to Adele, feeds Bailey, feeds Turkovich. He's got it. 27-12, 13-point lead for Washington again. And Elkhart calls timeout with 5:40 left to go in the first half.
27-12 back in 1971. You might be wondering, what the heck are we doing here? We're looking back at an encore presentation of a terrific basketball game back in 1971, the boys state finals. It was an excellent, East Chicago up and down the court, back and forth, faster than no high school team I've ever seen before. It's just an excellent game, making Elkhart look, well, maybe not worthy of being in the championship, but we know they were a good team also, and they do struggle back and make a game out of it. But we're sort of taking a look back for 22 years to see 23 years to see what exactly was set up and what went on in that game. And it's a rare opportunity to look at some file footage of that game. We do that because it's March Madness and it's March Fest 56, and Coach Adele and Mr. Ed Williams in the studio with us to share the moments with us. It's a great game.
Well, we were talking about it, and all you saw was the ball going back and forth, and we complimented everybody. You have to have that in the game. Like I told Mr. Williams, it was entertaining. You guys love to come out to see young guys exemplifying everything that you want to see out there, and we did that. We were called University of East Chicago, Washington, and I tell you one thing, we went out there, and I always say this, when you have the right chemistry, you don't change what got you down there, and we didn't.
You remember, Darnell, that the one thing that sticks out again is there was no cockiness.
Exactly.
There was no selfishness, one player to the other, and I think that's attributed to the fact that all of you had played together for such an extended period of time. Fine young men, Jim. You just can't say enough about them. And let's not forget the old coach, Coach Moladad, who had the charge of bringing together this group of fine young men, because what we see is purely cosmetic, that we know he was behind the scenes and he was really the individual that made all of this gel.
Well, what he did, he took from the feeder system, Franklin, Field School, Harrison, Holy Trinity, Washington Elementary, Riley School, you know, all these coaches attributed to all this stuff. And what we did, he enhanced it. He let us play together. We didn't all rightly come up to the top. You know, 7th and 8th grade, I played. In my freshman year, I got academic problems. I bring up this now simply because it's not just all basketball. It's academics also. Yeah. I think we have a stringent rule now that may make these kids products of East Chicago. You got to get your books first before you do anything. All of this is some of the trials and tribulations that we go through.
All right, we're about ready to go back to the action in just a moment. The ball's in your court at the moment. Why don't you pick up the phone at 756-5656. Make a pledge to Channel 56. Help us to keep bringing you these quality programs. Even the Look Back, that was expensive too. Everything we put on the air has a financial road somewhere, and we ask for your support. Your programming, your dollars makes our programming possible, so why not share in that? 756-5656 or long distance 1-800-756-5601. Now, let's get back to the action.
Reggie Underwood gives it to Lefevre. Lefevre comes down court. Underwood works, puts up the 5-footer, no good. Tipped up and grabbed out of there by Bridgman. He loses it, but Stoddard grabs it. Bailey from the side, missed it. Macon pulls it off there for Elkhart. Out front to Lefevre, maybe too long. He saves it into Suggs. To Underwood. Lefevre's open, they don't see him. Now he's got the shot. He misses it. He's pulled off by Lefevre. Off to Babcock. Fakes off Bridgman, puts up the shot. It's no good. Tipped up by 2 Elkhart hands and pulled off by Stoddard. To Turgovich. 12-footer, short. Off underneath by Adele. It's no good. Turgovich tips it in. 30-12, East Chicago, Washington. 4:40 left to go first half. Macon fakes off Bridgman, puts up the shot and hits. 3 buckets for Carl Macon, who had 24 points the afternoon session. 30-14, Elkhart down. Turgovich is fouled by Babcock, and that is 3 on John Babcock. One and one coming to beat Turgovich. He was fouled before he took the shot. It's up and no good. Rebounded by Davis, who has come into the ball game to replace Babcock. Macon shot up off the rim, no good. Rebounded by Suggs, almost lose it, picks it back up. Gives Macon 10-footer, no good. Grabbed out of there, 4-on-1. Stoddard to Adele, behind the back pass to Turgovich, who traveled. Turgovich not travel. It was Adele getting the pass off to him. 30-14, East Chicago Washington in front. 3:49 left to go first half. The championship game of the 61st state tourney. Suggs tries to tip, comes off with it, puts it up and in. Schaefer Suggs gets his first basket. 30-16, Elkhart down by 14. 3:33 left to go first half. Turgovich turns, missed it. Pulled off by Davis. Feeds down court to Lefevre, knocked away and out of bounds by Bailey. It'll be Elkhart's ball. Man-to-man defense, very tight at the moment by Washington. Lefevre in the corner. Underwood has it stolen away. Adele has it all the way. Got the bucket. 32-16, East Chicago, Washington. 2:45 left first half. Macon turns, shoots. No good. Tries to rebound. Bridgman gets it instead. 4-on-1. Bailey, Turgovich, score. Foul, Turgovich charging. Reggie Underwood at the line with one. He misses it. Ball knocked away momentarily. Tries to pass it off, loses it. Couldn't gain control. It was Adele trying to pass. 34-16. East Chicago, Washington in front. 2:23 to go, first half. Davis had the shot, didn't take it. Beats Suggs. Suggs goes under. Gives it off to Macon as he couldn't get the shot. Lefevre, 12-footer, in and out, no good. Pulled out of there by Bridgman of the Senators. Turgovich turns, hits it. 7 baskets for Pete Turgovich. 36-16, 20-point lead for the East Chicago Washington Senators. Hoping to become the 3rd straight team to go through the season unbeaten and get the state championship. Macon faked off Bridgman and got the bucket. His 4th. 36-18. 127 left in the first half. Bailey off the rim, no good. Rebounded out of there by Suggs. Suggs trying to beat Adele. Finally gives it off to Lefevre, and Lefevre hits it. With the ball is Stoddard. Stoddard to Turgovich, turns, puts it up, whistle, and the foul is called on Suggs. Turgovich's first free throw is good. He'll get another. He's at 2 out of 3 so far. And he gives the Senators 38 points to 20 for Elkhart. 47 seconds to go in the first half. Ball thrown away, intended for Macon. Adele with the ball. Puts up the shot. Off the rim, over the top. It'll be Elkhart's ball. .25 seconds remaining in the half. Knocked away by Bailey. By Stoddard. Knocked away. Picked up by Davis. Davis to Macon, way out front. He's got the bucket. 38-22. Ball stolen by Underwood. Whistle. Let's see what the problem was. He stepped on the line when he got the ball. It'll be Washington's ball. 5 seconds left to go in the half. 38-22. Turnaround by Turgovich, no good. Pulled off by Davis, and there is the end of the first half with the score 38 for East Chicago, Washington, 22 for the Elkhart Blue Blazers.
Back at Channel 56 again, we're inviting you to take part in March Fest 56 by pledging your support to Northwest Indiana's public television station at 756-5656 or 1-800-756-5601. Darnell Adell, one of the members, one of the guards on the East Chicago Washington Senators team from 1971, and we're just chatting about some of the differences that went on in your life. You went from a high school player in '71 to a head coach at East Chicago Washington High School in 1979.
Right, Joy, was the difference. I was a ball player, and I played the game, and I played the game kind of well. And then I got the chance in '81 to be a head coach, and it was a difference because now I had to kind of gather all my instincts and stuff and information that I had and give it to the ball players. And it was hard to do. My first year, I only won 3 games, and that was very disheartening. And I almost tried to blame myself for a lot of different things. But the kids, the mode had changed again, and you had to make some adjustments, and I made some. And the next following year, I won 5 games. I went to 7, then I went to 9, then I ended up being 24-2, and then the state finals.
State Final Four in 1985, right. And compare it now as a player and a coach. Probably you're feeling a lot more responsibility as a coach.
Yes, well, you have to be a father to the kids, and what I did, I tried to surround them with a lot of simulation and try to use the Bailey, Adele era with the Bridgman and Turkovich and the starter. And the kids kind of understood, but they wanted their own identification. And I tried to expose them to a whole lot and tried to get all that alley stuff out of them. And it worked, but when we got out there, it was a new atmosphere. They saw the 10,000s of people, and it was a difference for them.
Didn't Ruben and Floyd and a couple of the others come back and try and help you with mentoring for the young men and talking with them, letting them know what to expect as it was coming along?
Right, this is where the outside help comes from, Mr. Williams. You have to have some role models out there, and I think that these guys exemplified just what I was talking about. You need that. You need the Junior Bridgmans, the Quinn Buckners to come in and talk to the kids and expose them to a lot because they don't know. You know, some of the people don't even get out of their community because of this is a vehicle for them.
It's hard to simulate 10,000 fans.
Oh, it is, it is, it is. You really have to tune them out and focus on basketball. It's hard, really it is.
You said this was the point where it was starting to get away from you guys a little bit.
Yes, you know, we got into the car, like I was telling Mr. Williams. What happened was the crowd did not get into it, so we gathered again and said, let's make a game out of this. It got a little bit out of control, and they got back right back into the game.
Okay, it's March Madness on Channel 56. You're enjoying the 1971 Boys State Championship basketball game between East Chicago, Washington, and Elkhart. We're asking you to pledge your support tonight to WYAN Public Television for Northwest Indiana. There are our phone numbers, 756-5656, 1-800-756-5601. Let's go back to the ball game.
Second half, getting ready to go. Same starting units that began the ball game for both clubs. Tip goes to Reggie Underwood of Elkhart. Babcock from the side, got it. First basket for John Babcock, who has 3 fouls. 38-24. East Chicago, Washington in front. Stoddard starts to drive, can't get in, beats Bailey. Back to Stoddard, left-handed hook is good. 40-24, the Washington Senators out in front. A little pressure being put on by the Senators. Babcock again from the side, no good. Tipped up by Davis and in. 2 baskets for Bill Davis, 40-26. 14-point lead for Washington. Bridgman to Turkovich, puts it up, partially blocked by Macon, grabbed out of there by Davis. Off to Lefevre, tries to bounce underneath, Turkovich has got it. Intercepted by Davis. Holds it up, gives Macon, gives Lefevre. Good. 3 baskets for Joe Lefevre, 40-28, 12-point lead for the Senators, 6:38 left third period. Man-to-man defense for the Blue Blazers. Knocked away, but it's grabbed out back by Bailey. Bridgman loses it, picked up by Elkhart. 3-on-2. Bad pass. Washington will throw the ball in. Mismatch underneath. Stoddard with the shot, got it. 5 baskets for Tim Stoddard. 42-28. Washington in front by 14. 2 minutes gone by in the second half. Turkovich a little tighter on Babcock now after he hit the one out back. Lefevre open. Shot is no good. Bridgman gets it to Stoddard. Long pass to Adele, and it's picked up by Lefevre. Almost knocked away by Bailey. Here comes Lefevre with the ball. Macon's got it. Puts it up and in. Carl Macon got his 12th point, and it's 42-30. Again, the Blazers trailing by 12. 5:14 to go, third period. Turkovich fakes, puts it up, and out of there, no good. Rebounded out by Davis. Lefevre, long pass to Babcock. Fakes, up, fouled by Turgovich, I believe. That's right. No, 21. Bailey got the foul. Babcock will have 2 shots. His first one is good. His 3rd point of the night. He can make it 4 here and bring Elkhart within 10, and he does. 42-32, 4:57, 3rd quarter remaining. Williams is now in the ball game. Off to Stoddard. Stoddard drives, puts it up. It's no good. Tips in. 6 baskets for Tim Stoddard. Williams in the game for the Washington Senators. He replaced Bridgman. Outside, Lefevre. No good. Williams tips out of bounds. Elkhart's ball. 44-32. The Washington Senators lead. 4:27, 3rd period. Davis up and in. 44-34. Elkhart down by 10. Bailey from outside. Good. 2 baskets for Reuben Bailey. Reggie Underwood puts it up. It's no good. With the ball is Davis. He's got it. 46-36. 4 minutes to go. 3rd period. Technical foul. Lefevre missed the technical. But it's Elkhart's ball. They could narrow the gap to 8 if they could get a basket here. Macon with the ball. Underwood drives, puts it up, no good. Tipped up by Macon. 7 baskets, Carl Macon. 46-38. Elkhart down by 8. 3:34 to go in the 3rd period. Bailey. Foul line. No good. Macon rebound. Out to Lefevre. Off to Babcock. Lays left-handed. No good. Here comes Turgovich. Turns. Lays. Got it. 8 baskets for Turgovich. 48-38. Three minutes to go. 3rd period. Lefevre way out back. Good. Elkhart down 8. 48-40. 2:45 remaining in the 3rd period. Stoddard goes. Puts it up. Whistle. Let's see. Foul on Davis. That's his first. Just 1 shot to Stoddard. He was fouled on the way in. Gets his first free throw. It's 49-40. Washington jumped off to a 12-0 lead. Elkhart at one point had narrowed it to 7. Now they trail by 9. Davis, turnaround jumper. Good. 5 baskets for Davis. 4 of them have come in this period, and now the Blazers are down just 7. 49-42. 2:22 to go. 3rd period. Williams outside. Too hard. Stoddard tips. No good. Macon rebound. Out to Lefevre. Off to Underwood. Short. Bailey with it. Loses it. Whistle. Foul on Macon.
Some role models in college.
Okay, back live on Channel 56 of Darnell Adell of the East Chicago Washington Senators. Mr. Williams from Lakeshore. I want to thank all his volunteers for being here tonight and helping us out. March Madness here, and we're enjoying a high school basketball game from the past. A great team, and we're getting to see them. This is a real treat for me because I've heard about this team for so long and never had a chance to see them.
You're not that old.
That's right. I look it, but
right.
You were talking a little while ago about role models, and you were obviously a role model back in 1971 along with your teammates. And talk about being one then and being one now with a lot of the pressures that the high school kids have.
Well, I think that Michael Jordan is probably the #1 role model that we have. And you have to have privacy. You're in the limelight. You never know where you're going to be, and everyone knows who you are. I think in 1971, even 1970 teams or any other team, when you're a basketball player, or important, you are very important. And whatever you do is a plus if you do it in a positive manner. And I think what we went out there and did, we presented ourselves, we were gentlemen, we had long hair and stuff like that, but I tell you one thing, when it was time to go out there and be productivities of our East Chicago heritage, I think we did a great job.
Mr. Williams, you got a pledge there you want to tell us about?
Certainly do. One of my childhood colleagues and friends, Jim Eldridge from Drummond Street, my old neighborhood. Jim has called in a pledge, and certainly we're appreciative of that. But Jim, I need you to get on the phone and call many of our other friends. Certainly the Channel 56 needs East Chicago's involvement if we are to continue bringing these fine basketball games. They do a wonderful job of college games in and out. Joe, you are very active in your own sports and sportcasting. None of this is free. Channel 56 needs the support and donation of many of the fine people in the city of East Chicago to continue to bring you the fine programming that's present here at Channel 56. So, Jim, get on the phone. He's now a coach at Central, one of your colleagues. Tell your wife to get on the phone. Tell
He's a
folks
coach.
to call us here. She is a coach also. But Jim, thank you, and let's get the phones ringing for the people from the city of East Chicago.
Every year you're involved with the Cardinals coach. High school basketball tournament in Indiana is something very special. We're going to get back to it on Saturday here with the East Chicago Regional Championship right here on Channel 56. Everyone sometimes wants to talk about a two-tier or a three-class system, but still seems like the old system works, just one class for Indiana high school basketball.
I think so. I think that with the enrollment and stuff like that, Joe, I think it needs to stay like that. I do miss the Lakeshore Conference and stuff like that because I think that the kids need some reward system, you know, for their jackets and stuff like that. By being independent, we don't get that. But we're getting ready for the regionals this weekend.
Let's go back to the ball game.
Reuben Bailey at the line with one shot. It's good. 50-42, 8-point lead again for the Washington Senators. 2 minutes to go, third period. Lefevre open. Good. 50-44, 6-point lead for Washington. This is the closest. Steal, Lefevre. Here he comes. Underneath Underwood. Travel. This is the closest Elkhart has been since it was 6-0 early in the game. Minute 43, third period. Turgovich shoots it up, in and out, no good. Tipped out back. Underwood's got it for Elkhart. Feeds Macon. Underneath to Babcock. It's in. Nice feed. 4-point lead for Washington. 50-46. Minute 20 to go, third period. Bailey, no good. Stoddard tips it in. 7 baskets for Tim Stoddard, 15 points. 52-46, the Senators back again by 6. Underwood loses it to Bailey, almost gets it back, and it goes out of bounds. It will be Washington's ball. Wide open, Turgovich. No good. Stoddard tries to tip. Rebounded off the floor by Davis to Macon. Back to Davis. Babcock gets the rebound. 52-48, 4-point lead for Washington Senators. 17 seconds remaining in the third period. Stoddard looks for Turgovich, gets it to him, turns, puts it up. It's good. 9 baskets, Pete Turgovich. 3 seconds, 2 seconds, 1. Long shot by Lefevre. Off the bankboard, no good. The third period ends. Elkhart trailing East Chicago, Washington, 54-48.
Okay, I think what's happening now, we kind of feel the championship game coming to an end, and I think that we know that we have won it, but we don't want to get too complacent where we kind of lose it. Elkhart is really coming back now, Mr. Williams. I can kind of feel it now. I feel like I'm there now. I used to talk to Reuben Bailey last night and told him that reminiscing over a game like this, you can kind of start sweating and get the feel. And, you know, this is a good instructional film for everybody to see because we did a lot of good things together.
Good. At least they don't have their tapes on. It looks like it's on fast forward, and you all move so fast. The thing that I can remember most is they would take it off the backboard and just throw it down court, and either yourself or Reuben, one of the two, was always there to take it, and then somehow we'd get a
court awareness. Everybody was aware of what was happening.
Coach, I told you that our appeal to some of the fine people in East Chicago would pay off. Mr. and Mrs. David Lopez have been kind enough to call Channel 56 with their monetary support. And I guess there's another fellow here that's my oldest son, Kevin. Dad appreciates the opportunity to say that you called up, but I'd like to see you give a little bit more than that. Jim, we're going to work on it, and not only for the people in East Chicago, but there is Gary, there is all of the surrounding communities. We can't say enough about the programming here at Channel 56. It's such a fine staff. It requires the input, your support, so certainly we can't make it without you. And Jim?
Well, let's make it easy for people to call. Of course, the number is easy to see, or easy to remember, but we have something to give you if you make a pledge to Channel 56. If you can pledge the amount of $40 or more, the annual membership, you'll receive the monthly magazine, Channel 56 Program Guide. Now, if you can pledge at the amount of $56 or more per year, we have a Channel 56 sports hat to give you. This is white with Channel 56 blue colors. It's an all-purpose sports hat. If you're not a hat wearer, Channel 56 canvas tote bag. Sturdy bag, strong handles. This bag will last a long, long time. It's our gift to you. Now, if you're able to pledge at the $100 or more level, a Channel 56 sports sweatshirt is yours in red and white, black and gold, large, extra large, polyester cotton mix, won't shrink when you wash it. It's a great sweatshirt, and this is perfect weather for it. But you have to make that call now. It's 756-5656 and show your support for Channel 56.
Final quarter, all set to go. Bridgman and Macon jump it. Bridgman tips to Turgovich for the Senators. Washington may be going to play a little cat and mouse here. Look for the real good shot. Turgovich out back, up the back of the rim, no good. Stoddard tips, no good. Bridgman tips it in. Second basket for Bridgman, 56-48. Washington out in front. Lefevre to Macon. He's going to take this one. Off the rim, no good. Stoddard looks for the fast break, doesn't have it. Adele from out back, front of the rim, no good. Foul called on Stoddard as he came in on somebody's back. That's only his first foul. Davis at the line with one shot. Free toss is off the rim, no good. Macon's got it for the Blazers. Feeds Davis to Babcock. It is short, and Turgovich rebounds it. On the run come the Senators. To Stoddard, can't handle it out of bounds. Eight-point lead for the Washington Senators. 6:49 to go in the game. Underneath the Davis, he's fouled by Stoddard. Stoddard reaching in. That's his second foul. Davis has just one shot coming. Off the back of the rim. No good. Almost rebounds his own shot. Grabbed by Macon. Macon drives for the basket. Stops. Travels. Bridgman open. Misses a shot. Tipped up. No good. Macon rebounds. Underwood to Babcock. Davis blocked by Stoddard. Gets the ball back. Lays it up. No good. Tipped out of bounds by Washington Stoddard. It'll be thrown in by Macon for Elkhart. 6 minutes plus 2 seconds to go in this state final game. Lefevre puts it up. It is good. Just rolls in. 6 baskets for Lefevre. 56-50. Elkhart trailing by 6. They've gotten it down as close as 4 after being down 18. 5:51 to go in the game. Bailey. Adele. Tries to throw. Turgovich stolen by Lefevre for Elkhart. Macon open. Shoots it. Got it. 8 baskets for Carl Macon. 56-52. Washington leads by 4. Timeout, Senators. Here we go. 5.5 minutes to go in the ball game. 4-point lead for the Senators. They've led all the way in this game. Bridgman tries to go under, puts it up. It's short. Macon rebounds for the Blazers. Underwood almost had any travel with it, they say, and he goes into the photographers. Bailey to Bridgman, loses it. Out front is Macon. He has a height advantage. Got the shot. It's in. 9 baskets. Carl Macon, 2-point lead. Senators 56-54. 4:34 to go. Bailey out back. In and out. No good. Tipped up by Stoddard and in. 8 baskets. Tim Stoddard, 17 points. 4-point lead again for the Senators. 4:20 to go. Lefevre to Davis. No good. Off the hands of Bridgman. Then he gets it back. Turgovich works, lays, got it. 10 baskets for Pete Turgovich, and the Senators are back out in front by 6. When Elkhart got as close as 2, it appeared to pep them up just a bit. Macon with it. Puts it up. Good. 10 baskets for Carl Macon. 60-56. Elkhart down by 4. 3:38 to go. Turgovich. Oh, the easy one. 11 buckets. 62-56. Senators by 6. 3:24 to go. Babcock lays it in. Missed it. Almost tipped in by Stoddard, and goaltending is called. Goaltending called. Babcock gets a bucket. (62-58). Stoddard from the corner, no good. Turgovich with the rebound, whistle, foul on Underwood. Pete Turgovich goes to the line. He'll have just 1 shot. Free toss is good. 63-58, 5-point lead for the Senators. 2:55 to go. Elkhart with the ball. Lefevre to Macon. Feeds it off to Davis. Davis, 5-footer, no good. And Bridgman and Lefevre come off with it.
Darnell, it's certainly a very exciting game. Still fast forward, very fast moving. You all were certainly athletes in every sense of the word. Since our last call, we've received a donation from a Cedric Riddle, coach who wanted us to let you know that he had played under you in 1982 at East Chicago, Washington. A very good friend of mine, Ray Scott, who is also a principal at Central High School has called in with his pledge, and Mr. Louis Paz. All of these parties have been very kind and very generous in supporting the activities that take place here at Channel 56. And Darnell, as we look back and take you back with this nostalgia, 21 years ago, we've heard a lot about what you do today, but looking back, that I'm mindful that Junior, who worked with us this summer and coming back to serve as role model for many of the young people that worked on our summer program, who himself is a very successful businessman in the city of Milwaukee as well as Louisville, working with Bridgman Foods, working with servicing many of his own fast food restaurants. Certainly, that's success within itself. I'm wondering, what are some of the other players doing now that you might know of?
Well, Mr. Williams, Pete Turkovich is in the East Chicago school systems now. He's teaching in the area of special ed with myself. Ruben Bailey is a city inspector in East Chicago. Mike Monaghan works at the East Chicago Marina. Albert Pollard he works at Emden Steel. Marcus Stallings is still in Minnesota with insurance. Lucky Smith is in East Chicago with the security position. And I think that you have to understand that life goes on, and you have to get a real job. And I think that's what we have exemplified, that after the basketball shoes and the basketball is put down, then you have to go out there and start working for a living.
Probably the part that most young men don't want to let go of, but at some point, the shoes have to go, the newspaper clippings all have to go, and you have to kind of look at life. We're here seeking your support of Channel 56. Jim, if we can get you to...
Well, the phones are ringing, and that's a good sign. It's classic basketball here on Channel 56. What a terrific game from 1971. Before we go back to the action, we want to thank some people who are calling. If we could just collect those and get the ones that we have on hand nearby. We want to show you that the Channel 56 tote bag is still available. The Channel 56 sweatshirts in red or black. The Channel 56 hat. These are gifts that we have for you for showing your support for Channel 56. We want to send greetings to Mateo Castillo, calling in from East Chicago. We appreciate that, and many others calling in tonight. It's still your turn. Pick up the phone and call the numbers. You see them on the screen. We're waiting for you right now.
Bridgman has a 3-inch height advantage on this jump, and he gets the tip to Turkovich, to Adele, to Bailey. Bailey lays it in, and the foul is called on Underwood. Bailey has one free throw, in and out, no good. Bridgman tries to tip, he can't. Turkovich tries to tip, finally goes out of bounds, Elkhart's ball. 65-58, 7-point lead again for the Senators. 2:35 to go. Babcock open, got it. 5 buckets for John Babcock. He's got 12 points in the game, 65-60. Senators on top by 5. 2:15 remaining in the ball game. The State High School Basketball Championship of Indiana. Turkovich to Stoddard. Kicked away by Babcock and out of bounds, off the feet of Stoddard. It'll be thrown in by Elkhart. And timeout called by the Senators. Blazers ball, 65-60. Washington in front, 2:01 to go. Macon from way out on the side, no good. Lefevre blocks out, gets the shot up, no good. Rebounded out of there by Bridgman. Elkhart going to have to put the pressure on, because I think Washington's going to play with a good shot now. Minute and a half to go. Stoddard, Bridgman, doesn't take it. Throws out back to Bailey. To Stoddard. Elkhart going to have to go after the ball. Minute 15 remaining. Turkovich all the way, misses it. Knocked out of bounds by the Senators. Elkhart's ball with 1:02 to go. Lefevre open. No good. Babcock rebounds and is knocked out of bounds by Turkovich. He tried to feed Davis underneath. And timeout being called by the Senators with 53 seconds to go, and they lead 65-60.
Close game's going to tighten up to the finish. I think we know how it ends, but let's stand by and watch anyway because it's an exciting game from 1971. We're glad to have you. We're glad to be part of your viewing habit tonight. We're into your home, and we appreciate your inviting us there. We're taking a look back to 1971 for that great East Chicago game, and it's fun to see how things, not only how good that team was, but how styles and techniques have changed over the years. And one thing that remains constant, though, is Channel 56 needs public support, and that's why we're sharing it with you tonight. Any final comments as we come to the close of the game?
Well, I think that this tape sums up a lot that you can accomplish in 4 years. I know that I talked about the Michael Jordan versus Turkovich. He was a young Michael Jordan back then, but we usually called him Pistol Pete because of the delayed Pete Maravich. But I think that Mr. Williams knows, and all the viewers out there knew that when we went out there, it was a lot of harmony, no selfishness, and we got the job done.
Yeah, and that's what it takes, and that's what a championship caliber team is made out of.
And to get support for Channel 56, during our last break, that we had a call from Mr. Michael Haluska, who Coach wanted us to know that he's making this donation in the name of Mr. Angelo Bassis,
Right.
who I guess
Passed,
was a
right.
deceased now, but was a classmate of yours. Looking at the tape, looking at the game, etc., what do we see as being the difference between you all then, you were so coachable then, and between many of the young student athletes now?
Well, I think that the household has a lot to do with a lot of different situations. These kids kind of group themselves together instead of staying and trying to mingle around. It was like a university. We all came from different junior high schools and elementaries, and once we got together, we focused each other and we liked each other and we played basketball. You have to compliment each other and you have to like each other and have fun out there. And I think these kids don't understand that. They often to individual statistics, and you can't have that.
Is that a difficult job as a coach today, to take away some of the individuality and concentrate more on team sports?
Well, Mr. Williams, it's like a roller coaster. You don't want to take too much from them, otherwise they cannot enhance anything. But you're right about some things. You cannot deter that. You try to expound on that and help them out.
All right, well, let's go see how it ends. We're running out of time here, so let's just see how this game concludes, and we'll stand by and catch every minute of the action coming up right now.
Throwing it in, Elkhart. Way out back to Babcock. 50 seconds to go. Elkhart's going to have to get that shot. Davis tries to go underneath. It's knocked out of bounds by the Senators. Into Lefevre, 40 seconds to go. 65-60. Lefevre puts it up. Off the back of the rim, no good. Babcock's got it. Feeds Davis, his shot. No good. Rebounded out by Stoddard, and a foul is called on Davis. One and one to Stoddard. Free toss, good. Second free throw, that gives him 18 points. If he makes this one, the Senators are in good shape. He gets it. 25 seconds to go. 67-60. Underwood, underhanded, no good. Macon fouls as he goes after the rebound. Bridgman at the line with a 1-and-1. First toss is good. He's hit 5 free throws in a row after missing his first one. The next one, off the back of the rim, no good. The Blazers with 17 seconds to go, trail by 8, 68-60. Babcock from the side, no good. Tipped up and brought off there by Bridgman. Bridgman holds, 8 seconds, 7, 6, 5. Long pass, Turkovich, knocked away, 1 second, puts it up, it is good. The basket counts, and the ball game is over. The final score, 70 for East Chicago, Washington, 60 for Elkhart. East Chicago, Washington has won the 61st State High School basketball title. This is the second state championship for the team. They won one back in 1960. The Elkhart Blue Blazers, for the first time, are runners-up of this tournament. They had been to the Final Four twice before this year. High scorer in the ball game was Pete Turgovich. Turgovich had 28 points on 12 baskets and 4 free throws. The only other man in double figures for East Chicago was Tim Stoddard. He had 19 points on 8 baskets and 3 free throws. Ulysses Bridgman scored 9. Darnell Adell had 6, and Reuben Bailey had 7. For the Elkhart Blazers, the leading scorer was Carl Macon, 10 baskets for 20 points. Getting 12 each were Joe Lefevre and John Babcock. Bill Davis had 10. Reggie Underwood scored 4, and Schaefer Suggs, in a relief role, scored 2.
Elkhart team is being presented by Albert L. Fike of Linden, Indiana, a member of the IHSAA Board of Control.
Athletic Association. These are our runner-up rings. You want to do?
Presenting the runner-up trophy, Mr. John Baston of Centerville, a member of the IHSAA Board of Control. Nofo E. Fortner, a member of the Indiana High School Athletic Association Board of Control of Campbellsburg, presents the championship rings to the championship team. Presenting the championship trophy, Maurice N. Davis of Fort Wayne, Indiana, president of the IHSAA Board of Control. The Arthur L. Prester Award was presented by James L. Early of South Bend to Jerry Lamberson of Newcastle. The Prester Award for mental attitude is awarded on the basis of scholarship, attitude, and school citizenship. James Early, who presented the award to Jerry Lamberson of Newcastle, is a member of the IHSAA Board of Control.
Is brought to you by the courtesy of the Indiana High School Athletic Association.